So I just wanted to share with you a little win that I had today. You may or may not know, but I work at a health food store. I'm also a health coach, but I work at a health food store. It's great, it coincides with my business, and it's a great place to meet clients. Anyway, there's this one man that came in, an older gentleman, who told me that he had multiple strokes, a few other problems. He could barely walk. He needed to use our cart to walk. He needed me to walk around the store. He sat for the most part, and I had to go shopping for him. He also couldn't talk very well. He had a really hard time speaking, and when he went to sign his name on the credit card thing, he couldn't even sign it. And you know, I let him know you can just leave like a little scribble as long as you know you paid for it. That's all that really matters. Anyway, he told me he had just been diagnosed with diabetes, and he was so stressed out about all these things that are wrong with him. He's like, you know, I just had these strokes, I can barely walk, I can hardly write, and now I have diabetes, like, on top of it all. So most of the books we have at the health food store aren't what I would recommend. So I got to special order him Neal Barnard's program for reversing diabetes. Dr. Neal Barnard. So we special ordered him the book, and it took a little while to get there. I didn't tell him anything about it. I didn't tell him what the diet was about or like what the book was going to be recommending. I just wanted him to get the book and read it and find out for himself. So I was a little apprehensive. I do live in like cattle country. There are no vegans out here, for the most part that I know of. There are no plant-based eaters really out here, and he definitely didn't look like the type that would be interested in it. Obviously, like, don't judge a book by its cover. Regardless, I didn't tell him anything about the diet. I didn't want him to be apprehensive. I just got the book for him. So he came in however long later, a couple weeks later, when the book came in, and then I was just really hoping that it worked out for him and that he didn't just read it and was like, you know, I'm not doing that. Why would I stop eating meat and dairy? Like, I love those things. 3 weeks later, he came in today and he told me, he walks in with a huge smile on his face and he says, "You made me go vegan." Obviously he meant vegan, but he didn't know how to say it because it's like foreign to him. It's not something that he even hears about in his daily life. So he says, "You made me go vegan." And he had the book in his hand and he was looking for some beans and things like that. He told me he had a freezer full of meat, but now he's just feeding it to his cats. Like, he doesn't need to eat it. And he was amazed. He could speak way clearer to me. I could understand him so clearly. He was actually walking around the store and shopping on his own, even though he needed a cart as like a walker. Last time he couldn't even walk around. He had to sit in the front. He was walking around. He's like, "I've been doing this for 3 weeks and it's amazing. My body is actually working. It's so amazing. You know, all my other doctors, they tell me to eat eggs, but there's so much cholesterol in eggs." He said, "Even Dr. Oz told me to eat eggs." And I said, yeah, they're all probably, at least especially the ones in the media, paid by the meat and dairy industry. Maybe not your local doctor might not be paid by the meat and dairy industry, but the school he went to probably had some influences by those animal agriculture industries. Most doctors only get, what, an hour of nutrition training out of their years and years of medical school education. And Dr. Neal Barnard is a medical doctor, but he's also an expert in nutrition, which is a really good combination considering most of our diseases and ailments are diet related, and most of the doctors today are just treating symptoms with medications instead of going to the actual root of the problem and trying to cure it through foods. Food should be our medicine. He was so happy, and he made me even happier. And he told me, he said, "You saved my life." He said it like 3 or 4 times. "You saved my life." And obviously I don't want to be the one to take that kind of credit, you know, or like be that kind of hero. I saved that man's life. It's not like I like pulled him out of the way of a car or you know, I didn't save his life from any terrible traumatic physical thing like you might think of a hero and might think of somebody saving someone's life. And I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to be modest. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Well, but then I thought about it a little bit further on, and you know, I very well could have saved his life. He said, he's like, "I would have never thought that a little random health food store in some little random town in the middle of nowhere would have the answer for me, would be able to heal me." And within 3 weeks, he's just been doing it for 3 weeks, and he is all about it. And I just wanted to share that little win with you. Plant-based win, health food win, grassroots effort win, you know, all those things. So one person can make a difference. I made a difference in that man's life. I make a difference in my client's life as a health coach. I make a difference if somebody is willing to, hear the information. And he said even too, in that book, Dr. Neal Barnard's program for reversing diabetes, that he explains it really, really well in layman's terms, because he doesn't understand fancy scientific stuff. And even I, who am really into nutrition and try to read up about it and learn a lot about it, I don't really understand when they word it in a very, really intensely scientific manner. It's confusing, and you're supposed to really just take their word for it without understanding the concept of it. But this book will clearly explain to you how fats and cholesterol will clog your blood and clog your cells from getting the insulin in it. The cells need to take in the insulin, but if they're filled with fat, they can't take in the insulin. So that's where this the low fat, high carbohydrate, plant-based diet heals diabetes. When so many people are telling, avoid sugar, avoid pasta, and actually when he first came in, that's what he told me. He said, I've stopped eating pasta, I've stopped eating sugar, I've stopped eating flour, and now he can eat those things again. I eat beans and stuff. He's just cut all the animal products out, which is one of the huge, most major steps that you can do for better health across the board. Cancer, heart disease, diabetes, cut out animal products and save your life. Like, this man's gonna save his life. I gave him a book. And he read the book and he took its advice and he saved his own life and countless animals' lives as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.